writer. Let's give him some feedback. Do we agree? Good job. So, okay, so we've already answered what is a fable. It's a story or narrative that has how many characters? Two, three. And who are those characters?
Animals.
Animals. Good job. And it teaches a moral. What is a moral? Miss Addison.
Lesson.
It's a lesson. It's a life lesson. It teaches you about right and wrong. I'm liking the feedback. Good job. And let's see. A moral is a life lesson. Good job. And it always teaches about right and wrong. Let's think about our fables that we did yesterday. We looked at 6 of them, right? And then we filled out the elements. What were the 3 things that every fable had in common? Colton. Or John David, I'm sorry.
They all 3 had animals.
They all 3 had animals. The characters were animals. How many?
2 to 3.
2 to 3. What else? Daniel.
They all talk.
They all talked, so the characters talk. There's 2 to 3 who are animals. What else? Lexi. Or Natalie. It teaches you a life lesson, and that's called a
Moral.
Moral. There's our vocabulary word. It teaches you a moral. And then there's one more thing that was in common about all of those. What was it? Cameron.
The setting was all outside.
The setting was all outside. I like how you use setting. Good job. So, and those are called elements. There's that word that everybody asked me about on the pre-test. An element. It's just the few. They are the things every common fable has. The characters we've already covered. We will have 2 to 3 who are animals. Yes, the animals talk. So is it fiction or realistic fiction?
Fiction.
Fiction. Good job. The setting, always be outside. And the moral, it's the purpose of a fable. It teaches you a lesson. Now, let's think back to our characters from yesterday. Here's a list. We have a goat and a fox, a magic rabbit, 2 beavers. That we have mice, turtles, eagles, fox. What do all these characters have in common? Maddie? They all talk. Josh?
They all buy.
Aesop. Good job. He did write them, but what's in common about the characters? This list of characters, what?
They all talk.
They all talk. We covered that. Who wants to help them out? Sophia.
They're all animals.
They're all animals. They're all animals. And these animals will take on character traits, right? What is a character trait? We talked about that. Mr. Schuyler.
It's what they have in common.
Okay, if I said Schuyler has so many character traits, one of them is that he is so happy in the mornings. What's the character trait?
It's
Okay, let's happy. Happy would be the character traits. Nice, stubborn, confident. All of those are character traits, things that make you the way you are. And all these people, or these characters, had them, right? Let's think about the goat and the fox. For those of you that didn't read that one, it was about a goat who falls in, or a fox that falls into the well. The fox didn't think about what would happen if he got stuck in the well. So he tricks a goat to just jump in, and the goat does it because the fox asked him to. So now they're both stuck. The fox gets out because he crawls up the goat's back and jumps out, telling the goat that he would help him when he gets to land. However, However, the fox tricks the goat and doesn't help him. And the moral was look before you leap. We talked about that yesterday. What does look before you leap mean? Gavin?
It means to make sure that you know what you're doing before you jump.
Yes. Think before you do something. Know what you're doing before you jump. So let's think about those two characters. The fox was what? Tell me. Will.
The fox was mean.
Okay, fox was mean. What else? Mr. Lawson.
The goat was nice to help the fox.
Okay, the goat was nice. He was helpful. Jenna, what do you think? What about that mean old fox? What else about him?
He didn't help the fox out of the well like you said.
He didn't. He did what?
He tricked him.
He tricked him. So he was tricky. He was sneaky. He was sly. Okay, so these are examples of character traits, and all of your characters in a fable will take on traits that people would have. That's an example of what giving an animal or an object traits of a human being. What is that, Colton?
Personification.
Personification. You may clip up after class. Good job. Okay, so all these have that. They have personification. So when we write our fables, we need to make sure they have personification. Let's talk about our second element, setting. We said the setting would always be what? Jenna?
Outside.
Outside. Let's see if that holds true. In The Father and the Mouse and His Two Daughters, it's outside. What about the rabbit and turtle? Where is it? Anna?
Outside in the forest.
Good job. What about the eagle and the fox? Josh?
Outside in the forest.
Outside in the forest. What about the donkey and the lion skin? Skylar?
In the village.
It's in the village. And that village, for those of you that didn't get to come to my station, it was outside. It was an animal village. Fox and the goat. Where was it? I want to hear from somebody I haven't heard from. Will Merritt.
Outside at a well.
Outside at a well. Austin? If it's beside a river, is that setting outside? Good job. And that was from the Magic Rabbit and the Beaver, right? And the Bear and the Bees. Where was this set at, Mason?
Outside in the forest.
Outside in the forest. So the setting will always be outside. If, when we start writing our fables, are we going to tell me that the animals were at a store?
No.
Are we going to say the animals were at a house?
No.
Are we going to say they were at a cottage?
No.
No. We're going to, but what if I say they were in the woods? Would that work?
Yes.
What would be another example of an outdoor setting you can use in your fable? Hayden. Think about it. What do you see outside? Where do animals go? They could be in a desert. Good job. We could tell a story about a snake and an armadillo that live in a desert, couldn't we? Good job. So, just to recap, our characters are what? In a fable, our characters are what, class?
2
Animals. How many do we have, class?
2 or 3.
3. And our animals will take on characteristics of what? What's that big P word? Personification. Good job. We have personification everywhere in our story. They also
Talk.
They also talk. Good job. Our setting will be where? Outside. Good job. 2 of our 3 elements that we've covered are
Setting.
Characters.
Pardon this interruption.
Good job.
I need all beta members to go to Mr. Maple's room 202 for just a quick minute so we can get things lined up for convention. I apologize to teachers for pulling them out of class, but it will go very quickly. I need all beta members to go to Mr. Maples' room quickly so Ms. Mahaney can give you a bit of information and then get you back to class. Thank you.
Do we have any beta members? Okay. Moving right along. There's that M word again. What is it? Moral. And Miss Natalie, what is a moral? It's not the setting. What is a moral? If I say honesty is the best policy, that's an example of a moral. What is it? It's the lesson you learn from the story. Good job. So, do you believe me that every fable will have a moral?
Yes.
Let's prove it. You can't please everyone. What does that mean? Mr. Caden. Can't beg. That's close, but not quite. John David, help him out. Good answer, though.
Well, you can't get everything you want.
You can't get everything you want. If I said, I have 4 candy bars. I have 4 candy bars, and they're the big ones. And I want to give everybody a piece of a candy bar. But this table wants a candy bar to themselves. Can I please everybody if I only have enough to give one bite? No. So you can't please everyone basically means that sometimes you have to realize somebody is going to be upset. And it'll work out. Slow and steady wins the race. We talked about this one with the turtle and the hare. Daniel, what does that mean?
It means you don't always have to go fast to win. Just take your time and build up.
Yes, you may clip up after class. Good job. Take your time. Take your time, guys, whether it's a test or anything. That's the moral of that story. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. The golden rule. We all know it. Sophia, explain that to me.
If, like, for example, if you hit someone, that's how you want to be treated.
Exactly. But if you help somebody pick up their books, what does that mean?
That means that you want to be treated nicely, and so do other people.
Good job. Okay, we're not going to go over all of these, but because we talked about look before you leap and sizes and everything, what does that mean? That one was from the Bears and the Bees, or the Bear and the Bees. Maddie.
Don't judge somebody by their size. Like, for example, when the bear thought that the bee was so little it couldn't hurt him, but then when the bee saw him on the nose.
Good job. So, every fable will have what? What's our first one? Name it, Miss Addison. What's our first element? That every fable has. We went over 3 things. They'll have animals, but who are the animals? They are the characters. Good job. What else? Mason.
Setting.
Setting. Where is my setting? Outside. And they will have a what? Oh, Gavin, you're giving me face. What is it?
Moral.
Moral. What is a moral?
Lesson of the story.
Okay, so let's say that all together. The 3 elements. I'll cue you. The 3 elements of a fable are
Characters, setting, morals.
So when I ask that, what are we going to put?
Characters, setting, morals.
Okay. Let's do a little exercise. All you need is a pencil. Miss Maddie, can you help me pass out? Everybody gets one. So I'm going to read this fable to you. It is another fable. It is one that some of us read yesterday, but we didn't really take it apart as much because we were pressed for time. And we're going to look for the characters. I want you to underline the characters when we see them, not now when we read it. We're going to do this. This is an assessment. So I'm just going to read it and you underline where you think you see the characters and circle the setting. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a few minutes to look up the moral, write down the moral. So, where's my eraser? We are going to underline the characters. Circle the setting and write the moral.